Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the Help Me Mom podcast. And, last week was our first episode. I feel like my voice changes immediately when I'm introing something, but I think that's what makes a good podcast, maybe. I don't know. What did you guys think of making a podcast last week?
I was a little traumatized by how bad my lisp is. I had no idea. I had zero clue. And then
do you hear it? He like when you go yeah, but your brother does the same thing.
Oh, see, I don't hear his. I just heard mine.
No, your brother, cuz I had met Steven's brother for the first time over the weekend, and all I was doing was staring at him like, you look just like Steven with blonde hair and a beard and sound just like him, though. It was like the eeriest thing because I was looking in his eyes and I'm like, all I saw was Steven. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, but no, your brother talks the same way.
Oh, really? See, I don't hear the lisp in his, but listening back to I was like, should I have been in speech therapy as a child? This is pretty hardcore.
Just self-reflecting on every choice. I mean, I get it. I didn't hear myself with a lisp, but I do feel like I have to kind of work on the voice inflection. I feel like I don't know. I feel like
you're fine.
Oh, yeah. Well, good. See, maybe I mastered it already. Yeah. No big deal. But no, I mean, it was fun to make the podcast. I was super nervous. I felt like I started off really strong and then kind of tapered off, but that also stemmed from the fact that I thought I had been talking for 3 hours. Literally. The outro, when I was like, okay, bye guys, whatever. Yeah. I did it so quick because I was like, oh my God, I have us, I'm like, this has to end. I'm like, I've kept everyone up past their bedtime. I'm past my bedtime. And then I looked down, I was like, oh, it's 9 o'clock. I was like, we've actually only been recording for an hour.
Just to mention for audio listeners, moving forward, including this episode, we'll have video along with it on YouTube. And so feel free to check that out.
Yeah. No, I kind of like having the video. I already feel like it weirdly made me more comfortable.
Yeah, having something to focus on. You're not looking at the audio on the screen.
Yeah. That was trippy. Was watching as I'm speaking, just watching the whole thing go up and down, and then I was like, well, I have to talk at all these different I was trying to balance it. I don't know why, but yeah, I think the camera kind of helps, and I feel like it helps me almost act more and really get into something. So I think this was a good addition. Good. Again, thank God I got Barnetti behind there producing the magic.
Yeah. It just takes 10 years of learning all this stuff individually, and then magically you can put it all together.
Wow, Steven just did it overnight. So talented. But yeah, so I think all in all, I will stick with this. I think that was my conclusion last week. I mean, we still don't know where this is going, but I will stand my ground that's what works, and that's what we're going with. But with that being said, though, it did, as I was listening to the first draft and reflecting on it, I started kind of taking notes on the things that I said, and it led me to create this new aspect called let's fact check all the stupid shit that I've said, because I'll be honest, I'll be one to admit I will say anything. I'll say anything. I really will.
That's why you're the host of the podcast.
Yeah, I don't care. Everything is a complete lie. I don't care if it was true, if it was sometimes true. I'll just say it. And, when I'm famous one day, I'm going to have to go through some serious media training, because they'll be like, but Madison, you said this. I'll be like, yeah, well, I changed my mind. I saw a TikTok and it showed me some other aspect. So here we are.
I'm an Aquarius. What can you expect?
Yeah, I'm just so unpredictable. See, Steven, now you're getting it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a fact. That's true. Steven's an Aquarius.
Don't dox me.
Yeah, what?
Tell them my birthday area.
Yeah, I'll have everyone reading your birth chart in no time. Don't you worry. So yeah, so I jotted down some facts or lack of facts, and I thought we could fact check. I think the biggest one was how we were talking about Tom Brady, and that was the day that Tom Brady retired, and I had made that statement that he was signing the 1-day contract.
Oh, is that just
yeah, that was not true. And not only was that not true, that was actually disproven that day. I just didn't see the article. Yeah, in fact, my notes literally say confirmed literally on the day that I made the claim. So, yes, this is. I wanted to believe it, I guess, so bad that I was willing to be like, no, one article said this, and it's true. I saw it on Twitter, because that's obviously where all facts come from.
But didn't he eventually thank the Patriots? Didn't he eventually say something about it?
Well, see, we'll have to fact check myself next week, because I'll say yes, he did. Sure. Yes. So he did. So he like we talked about, he started off thanking the Buccaneers, which was just like weird and cringy, and then never said anything about the Patriots. But then that article came out that he was signing the 1-day contract, and then that was disproven. But then the Patriots, so then this will probably sum it all up. So as I'm fact checking myself, literally a Sports Illustrated article with a quote from a New England representative. Although the organization will oh my God, I can't read. Okay. Although the organization will surely host some sort of ceremony to honor Brady in the future, there's currently no plans to do so. So not only did they say no, he's not signing the contract, but they're also like, nah, we haven't really planned anything.
We're not going to celebrate anything.
Yeah, and you know what? That
bad
actually
blood.
Kind of made me mad.
That they wouldn't do anything for him.
Well, yeah, like, why are you acting like that? So, yeah, I just thought I'd let everyone know I'm more informed now, and I'm aware Brady will not be signing a 1-day contract. But I don't know. I feel like we kind of glossed over the Brady retirement in general. I feel like it got so shadowed by the guy breaking the news, and now nothing's come of it. But again, that could be my lack of being on the internet and not getting any notifications about anything. I don't know.
But so we're gonna have a weekly segment of Madison walking back her facts from last week.
Literally, it helps the listeners follow along.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you guys are listening week to week.
Yeah, so that you know.
Don't DM me. Yeah. Everyone, yeah, it's going to be a test actually, and you guys can play along too. I would also like to retract a statement that I said. I threw major shade at the Broncos at that point too. Remember when I was, and I didn't mean to. I actually don't have that strong of feelings towards the Broncos. So I apologize to Broncos fans. I didn't mean to really dog on your team. Now, if you're a Jets fan, that's different. But
she's gonna walk that back next week as well.
Or Eli Manning. I hate him. So I just got to make harsh claims and see what sticks.
Anna Marie hates Peyton Manning for his large forehead.
Like 10 head.
Yeah. Oh, that's why you hate him? But he's not. Eli's like a little brat.
Yeah, I was like, why is that why you would hate someone?
I don't know. I just, because I have a big forehead and I don't know.
So you guys
It's
should
just
band together.
It's just self-hate is what it is.
You're just projecting on. Yeah. Yeah, so
so
you're projecting onto him.
I'm gonna start calling
Poor
you Peyton.
I'm wearing a hat.
That'll be your pet name, Peyton.
We're calling you Peyton from now on. Winslow.
Oh God.
We'll get to that story. Anyway, another claim that I made. Me turning 25, that was true. I did turn 25 this week. It was 2 days ago. In fact, on a Tuesday, on a very busy Tuesday. So just wanted to put it out there. I think the trend is the claims I make about myself are true. Everything I say about me is very true. Things I say about other people, we don't know. That's why we're fact checking. having my this was fascinating. So in an effort to get better and like more confident week to week, I looked up a couple articles on like what makes a podcast successful. And, you know, in the podcast last week, I discussed how I don't want a direction of my podcast. I don't want to speak to my audience. I'm like, I have no audience, therefore the audience is me, and I'm talking about what I want.
I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. Those are not best practices at all, actually. Every article states that you have to cater to your audience.
Yes.
A shocking concept, which I knew about, but I still just like, not me.
To ignore it.
Yeah, not me. But we're working on it. As soon as I figure out who my audience is, I'll run with it. But for now, this is my audience. Me is my audience. It's my daily journal, or it's my weekly. What did I call it last week? My
Yeah, it was like
a vlog
a
of
weekly
some sort.
journal.
Yeah, just like an audio journal.
Journal.
I don't know, something like that.
Check.
Yeah, fact check. What did Madison say last week? Because she can't remember. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it being my audio journal because I think about the stories that I tell. I'm like, thank God. I'm like, they're gonna be recorded somewhere.
Yeah.
Put them to rest here.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, put them to rest. I love to beat a dead horse. Don't get ahead of yourself. So, yeah. So overall, and that's as far as I got, because then, I had to go to bed. But so right now the tally stands at 1 truth and 2 lies. Credible source. Again, we'll be in the positive one day, and thank God I didn't continue journalism school. That's an awful record.
It shouldn't have happened.
Yep. So, just thought I'd let it be known. So, as we know, I turned 25 last week. Oh no! Oh my God! I turned 25 2 days ago. It's felt like a week. You have no idea what has occurred in my 2 days of being 25. I don't even know how to start and explain. I intentionally did not tell you, and I am not a good I'm a secret keeper. I'm just not very good, especially when it comes to things that happen in my life. I just tell everyone. And in fact, I actually did tell everyone as soon as I got to the golf course. I told every outside service guy. I told the engineers, anyone who got in my path. I was like, you will not believe what happened to me this morning. So, welcome to Storytime episode 2. It's honestly kind of a shame that this is happening on the second episode, because I think it'll be a while before I top this story.
Oh no.
But now I feel like I'm hyping it up too much, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that.
What is happening?
Yeah. So today, it was a Thursday morning. I haven't been at the golf course in like a week, and because of waste management in town, we are kind of working a different schedule where I was working the second shift, but I had to come in at 10 a.m., which is fine because I'm used to being at work at 6:30, 7:30, whatever. So it was nice to kind of have the extra time in the morning. And, you know, the typical routine of the morning is that Chris goes to work first, or sometimes it's me that goes to work first. Regardless, me or Chris leave first, and then Mitchell is either home or he leaves. So
Mitchell's your roommate for
yeah, sorry. I meant to give background. So to set the scene, I live in an apartment. There's all different types of people that live there, but it's mostly young professionals. And it's me and my boyfriend Chris. We live together, and then we have a roommate named Mitchell, but Mitchell's a childhood friend, and he's kind of friends with everyone. So we're in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and the way that it's set up is that Mitchell's bedroom and bathroom are on one side of the apartment, and then me and Chris are kind of on the opposite side. So it works out. With that being said, you know, I'm living with 2 guys now, and as a girl, and Anna Marie can attest to this, when we lived at 922, we were all girls living there, so we always locked the door. When I lived in college, or after college, me, Alexa, and Madeline, we lived all girls. We locked the door. For some reason, living with guys, they just like don't lock the door. Do you lock the door?
No, he doesn't. He never
Probably like 5% of the time.
What's it like to live free like that? To just not,
lock the door.
yeah, to just not have a second thought about it.
Well, that's what she's like. I want to walk the dog. I'm like, okay, go ahead. And she's like, not by myself. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, yeah, I would never. Are you kidding? I hate parking in like corners of my apartment complex. I'm like, it's dark. It's attached to like this green belt, so there's direct access that's not like keypad entry, so people can just wander on in, and there's direct access to a bar, so you don't really know who's coming over here. I mean, the overflow parking is at a Little Caesars, if that tells you anything. So, which I will also never park at. I'm like, if I ever have to go park over there, Chris is picking me up. I'm like, I'm not walking.
That's our go-to parking when we come to your place.
Like when I'm with Steven.
Well, yeah, when you're with Steven. Yeah, lately Mitchell has been like getting shafted and has to go park over there. But he's been bringing his longboard. I'm like, see, that makes sense.
He has an escape route.
And you're a dude. So yeah, so you know what? The scientific question has been confirmed. Guys don't like to lock the door. Or not like to. You just don't think about it.
I welcome the danger.
Yeah. Steven likes to live on the edge.
Yeah.
So again, I'm living with two guys now. The door is not getting as locked as often as I'm used to, which, I mean, it's not fine. I'm always locking the door. Chris has gotten mad at me on multiple occasions because he'll be grumpy coming home from reffing and the door's locked, but I'm home alone. I'm like, of course the door's locked. I'm like, it's nighttime and I'm home alone. Why would the door not be locked? He has literally said, I could get him on this podcast. He will attest that he said, what, is someone just gonna like come in and rob us like in the middle of the night? And I was like, maybe. But I'm like, as long as I have the door locked, at least it makes them think twice before they come in here. So
even when I lived at like a sketchy place like right off Mill.
Still, oh yeah, and that's
I was
like
all by myself. I'd still like probably like 80% of the time the door was just unlocked.
Why? I just don't get it.
Chills. I hate that. I hate thinking about the door being.
I don't even like the lock on our door. It's not strong enough.
That's what I told Steven a few times. Like, I want to go check and make sure our door is locked right now.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I'm ensuing anxiety with everyone. Sorry.
The back door, she'll do the deadbolt and then the little wimpy like handle lock. And I'm like, if they're getting through the deadbolt, they're getting through that hand lock.
It's just something else to distract them. So, anyways, but I've been a culprit though. Like early in the morning when I'm the first one out of the house, I won't lock the door because I'm like, someone's gonna leave soon enough, and
it's just guys.
Yeah, Mitchell and Chris can like figure it out. And if any, no offense, Mitchell, but Mitchell's gone first. His bedroom's closest to the. Yeah, my boyfriend's covered. Mitchell.
It was strategic.
Sorry. Yeah. So, in the past, and there's been instances where I'm like, God, the door should have been locked. Whatever. There was this time, like a couple months ago, that Mitchell, he goes out at night to go DoorDash. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to be gone for like the next few hours. I was like, oh, okay, bye. And he didn't lock the door. And I didn't know that he locked the door. So I was in my bedroom, just like on my phone, doing whatever. And all of a sudden I hear the door open. And then I hear the door shut. And then I hear the bathroom door close. I'm like, okay, it's been like 45 minutes. Like, why? And I know Chris isn't coming home anytime soon. I'm like, and Mitchell said he was going to be gone for a few hours. So my heart's just pounding. I'm like, oh my God. And I looked at the location, but I saw that Mitchell was home, but I still texted him saying like, are you here? And he's like, yeah, sorry. And then he came out. He's like, sorry, I had to use the bathroom. So I came back and I was like, oh my God, you scared the crap out of me. And he was like, sorry. So then he left. And then that was that. So that was like a scary instance. But otherwise, nothing else has happened until this morning.
Oh my God.
I was wondering if that was where this story was leading to.
No, you have to tell it. I'm like having
until this morning. So I wake up. So again, I don't have to go to work till 10 o'clock. And then Chris went in at 7:30. And then ironically, surprisingly, Mitchell had to work this morning because he had to go help Gary with all the flowers. So I was home alone. It was Chris left at 7:30. Mitchell left at like 8 o'clock. I was in my room getting ready for working at the golf course. So I have my golf uniform on. I'm like doing my hair and I have about half a face on. And Mitchell had left probably 25 minutes prior to that. And then all of a sudden I'm in my bathroom and I just hear the faintest opening of the door. And I'm like, I'm just rationalizing in my head like, oh, it's the ice machine. But then I hear the door close. Oh my God. And then I hear a second door close. I'm like, and so I'm in my head, I'm like, what the hell? And I'm just raking my head. I'm like, okay, Mitchell left 25 minutes ago to go help Gary in the Biltmore area. I'm like, there's no way in which, I'm like, Mitchell really came all the way home to come to the bathroom? I'm like, geez.
The nervous pooper.
Well, yeah, so then I pull out my phone and I'm like looking at their locations and no, Mitchell's over here. Chris is at work, so I text them both just in case something's going wrong with Find My Friends. I text Mitchell. I'm like, are you here? And Mitchell texted back saying, I am at the address that you provided.
Oh, he's just doing a delivery?
Yeah. Mitchell had to go meet Gary somewhere. So I guess Mitchell explained after the fact. Mitchell thought I was asking him. Mitchell was like, I could have sworn you said you were working at the golf course, but then when you said, are you here? I thought you were meeting me. And then I was like, how did you beat me there? So Mitchell had no idea what was going through my head. And I knew he wouldn't, but that was all I could text, like, quick enough. Because I'm still in my bathroom, like, what, like, is this something I need to check out? Like, what's going on? So Mitchell, I am at the address you provided. I'm like, okay, which is not this address. So I was like, okay. And then I text Chris. I'm like, are you here? And then I'm like, of course he's like not here, but you know, you just want them to be here. Oh my God. Yeah. So then I'm just, you know, in the mirror looking at my fate. I'm like, okay. This is the end. I'm like, I gotta go fucking see what's going on. So I walk out of my room.
With your katana.
Yeah, I was like, what do I bring for a weapon? Yeah. Like a curling iron? I didn't have anything. A
hot curling iron, that'd be a good weapon.
When I tell you I did not work well under pressure, Anna
Marie does really well under pressure as well.
I mean, small disclaimer, the reason I'm telling this story is obviously because I'm fine. And it was very scary in the moment, but it's actually very funny now. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go do this. I'm like, this is my worst nightmare. So I walk out of my room and I go around the living room because it's kind of like at a C shape. So I can go and see who's in the bathroom without them seeing me. And sure enough, that fucking bathroom door is shut with the light on and I hear someone in there. I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So I'm just standing there like, the only thing I could think to do, I'm like, okay, well, Chris is like in a business office. I'm like, Mitchell's at least like with Gary. So I called Mitchell on the phone just to like have someone there while I was, because I didn't know what to do. I'm like, do I shout? Yeah, because I'm looking at the door, light is on, door is shut, there's someone in the bathroom, and I look at my front door, and it's, like, just faintly cracked open. I'm like, there is someone in this bathroom. So I texted Mitchell, like, saying, someone's in your bathroom.
That's so horrifying.
And I was just like, oh, I was speechless and frozen, and so I called Mitchell and just had him on the phone, just in case, like, someone was coming at me. Like, I had no idea because it is 8:30 in the morning. I'm going through my head every scenario. I'm like, is this like a houseless person who just found their way up here that had to use the bathroom? Is it like someone our age, drunk? Like, there was just, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm just standing there accepting my fate. I'm fully convinced I'm being murdered in my golf uniform with half a face.
One podcast episode in.
One podcast. Yeah. I didn't even get to go to work. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be murdered and no one's going to know. I'm like, they're going to, my boss is going to be calling me asking where the hell I am. And I'm just dead in the living room with half a face on, half my hair curled in my golf uniform. So I'm just standing there, I'm freaking out. I had no idea what to do. So I was like, okay. But then all of a sudden I hear the toilet flush. And I'm like, fuck. God. I'm like, okay. So I like ran back to like the corner of like where my room is. So I hustled over to like the corner of where my room was so that I could like see who it was that would exit. Yeah. And sure enough, I can't even fucking believe this. It is my fucking crazy ass neighbor upstairs, that woman, the moped girl.
Oh my God.
It was her. She came out of the bathroom and like, left through the front door, and then went upstairs to her fucking apartment. I was like...
She knew it was going to be stinky. And she just didn't want to do it in her own place.
I couldn't believe it. So then that's when I was like, okay, I don't have to be like scared, but like, so I like ran after her and she like ran up the stairs. And so I'm screaming out my door saying like, not your apartment, whatever. And then, she didn't say anything.
You should go use her bathroom sometime.
Yeah. Let me just climb an extra flight of stairs to shove it.
Kind of reminds me of something I did like on accident where I was going to like a friend's place and their door was right next to the stairs and it was pretty high up in the building and I miscounted how many stairs I'd gone through and they told me their door was open and I went around the corner and like aggressively tried to open a door and I was just on the wrong floor and I'm like, I probably scared the people in there so bad.
They never chased you down or anything?
No, because immediately I saw like it was the wrong room number and then just sprinted away.
Well, that's the thing. Like it was my neighbor. And fellow listeners, you're not aware of the backstory I have on this woman. Long story short, this woman, she's in her 50s. She doesn't really fit the demographic, honestly, of living in this apartment complex. It just goes to show you how expensive it is to live anywhere. But I got beef with this woman because it's a story for another time.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
I feel you're far enough into that story, so it made you angry. So what did you do?
Oh yeah, what did you do when you saw the woman in your parking spot?
So, we're talking about the parking spot?
Yeah.
Well,
share with the listeners.
Well, Chris started it, okay? I wasn't even mad.
Chris started it?
Chris is the one who showed up to the apartment and was like, do you see that bullshit going on down there? I'm like, no. What bullshit? And then, but he was so fired up about it.
I don't believe, I've never seen Chris fired up in my whole life.
Let me tell you, he came back. I was trying not to laugh, but he came back so pissed. And he was like, do you see this bullshit? I was like, what do you mean? So she had not only parked her moped in our parking spot, and the parking spots are very sensitive at this complex. We were only allowed one parking spot and could not.
Everyone gets a ration.
Yeah. And
there's an extreme shortage.
They wouldn't even they wouldn't even let us pay for an extra spot. They're like, no, you get one covered spot. So the spot means everything to us, especially me. I'm very possessive over it. So she parks her moped in her spot, but then to make it worse, we didn't know this at the time, but it ended up being like her girlfriend. She parks her giant Lexus like at this crazy fucking angle where she's in her spot and our spot. So even if the moped wasn't there, we wouldn't have been able to get in our spot. So long story short, Chris is pissed. I'm like, why are you this mad? I go downstairs. I see how ridiculous it is. So I'm pissed. And I wrote 2 notes and left them on the cars one saying, if you're going to park here, park better. And the second one saying, not your spot.
Yeah.
And then they proceeded to stay in that spot, in that position for the entire weekend. And then Mitchell got this like grainy fucking security looking footage of the woman going to her car to move it. So there's a history here. So of course it would be this neighbor who just wandered into my apartment. But then to make it worse.
Wait.
What?
I was kind of checking the audio stuff, but did you mention what you were doing when you were driving down, yelling back and forth?
Oh, yes. My shining moment, you mean?
That was why I wanted this story told.
So I was so pissed about her. So not only did I leave the notes, me and Chris had left to go visit his grandma. So we had come back that night. It was like 10:30 at night. And I was like, by now they would have seen the notes and moved the cars. No. So I was pissed enough that Chris, and this is how I knew Chris was pissed, is because he let me do this twice. He let me do it twice. I was like, all right, just pull up to the spot. I roll down my window and I'm just screaming out that window, move your car, move your moped, move the moped. I'm just screaming. Like I'm not, at 10:30 at night. It's Saturday night. I'm like, whatever. And yeah, so I not only did that once, I did that twice. And the second time was not nearly as nice. Yeah, just screaming, causing a scene. I mean, there's a dude that lights off fireworks. The complex just has weird stuff going on. So me screaming was the least of it. And did she hear? Oh, no. It's dark.
Oh.
Ooh. It's my neighbor.
Exciting.
Yeah, she knows I'm talking about her. I cannot believe she used your bathroom. Yeah. Well, so here I am 2 days into being 25 and my arch nemesis is double my age. So to get back to the original story, I just can't believe that it's literally this neighbor. I'm like, of course it is, whatever. So I'm not scared of her. So I chase her up the stairs and I'm just yelling at her saying, not your apartment. And she didn't say anything back. She just went up to her apartment and I'm just standing there dumbstruck because now the whole scenario is really playing back in my head. I called Chris, and like at this point, I was still kind of scared, shaken up, so I'm like crying a little bit. I'm like, I'm fine, but like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what is up with this bitch? I'm like, she's crazy.
It was retaliation for your notes that you left at.
Yeah, well, I was wondering when that would come back to bite me, and I guess it was today. So Chris ended up calling the property manager for me, and
oh wow,
yeah, well, cause he. Well, yeah. We really didn't know what to do. Yeah, because after the fact, obviously I wasn't in any sort of actual harm. Or something, yeah. And I'm going to assume she didn't do it on purpose because I'll tell you why. But Chris just called the property manager essentially to like let them know that this had happened. And I guess she was very sympathetic and understood. Like, yeah, we get a lot of reports of like drunk people stumbling into the wrong apartment, like college.
But at like 8:30 in the morning?
Well, and so she laughed because Chris had to literally tell her like, hi, yeah, my girlfriend was home alone and we know it's our upstairs neighbor. She came in, used our restroom and went back up to her apartment. So the woman like kind of giggled because it's kind of funny. Because I called Mitchell too to tell him what happened, and he was like, "Oh no!" Like it's just Mitchell. Like it was funny because obviously I wasn't in any danger. But to make matters worse is just like the scenarios that started running in my head because I walked over to the bathroom after she left, and she took a huge dump
and left it.
No, so she. Oh my god, it stunk. I was like,
she just wasn't gonna make it up one more flight of stairs.
I was like, oh my god, you are leaving a lasting impression. It was disgusting. I like couldn't. I was just like, this is insane. I just don't even know what to do. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep getting ready for work. I went into work late, but I was hanging around and I actually opened up all the blinds because I was like, well, now I'm pissed. So then of course, naturally I had to call Madeline to like tell her what happened. So then Madeline's in my ear being like, Madison, you got to go confront her. You need to go upstairs and like bang on that door and ask her what the fuck that was. And blah, blah. I'm like,
Madeline, I am child sized.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe when Mitchell or Chris comes back, we'll talk about it. But
go intimidate them.
Yeah, just throw up something. So I go back to getting ready, and then I'm sitting down and having breakfast, and I open the blinds in case I would see her. Because now I'm like, well, yeah, F you, bitch. What the hell? Yeah, so now I'm angry. So sure enough, I heard her like walking around upstairs because she's always clomping. She is that stereotypical upstairs neighbor where it's like, what are you doing? But sure enough, there she comes downstairs. So I get up and I run out the door and I look at her and I'm like, did you come in my apartment? And she looks at me and she was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. She's like, I was on a run. And she's like, and before I left my door unlocked. She's like, so when I was running, I didn't even think anything of it. And so I just like opened the door and like I went into the restroom and then I realized like I wasn't where I was supposed to be. And
I feel like it's so obvious. There's such a big gap between like your front door and the bathroom.
Well, exactly. I'm like, girl, there's one flight of steps to get to my apartment. There's 3 for you. Yeah, so it made no sense. So she was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I didn't say anything because like I didn't see anyone, but I feel so bad. And like, she's like, you were probably really scared, weren't you? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I was home alone and not expecting anyone.
You know what would make this up to me is if you gave me your parking spot.
It is so funny. I literally was going to be like, you have to give me your parking spot. Yeah. There's no other solution. So that was her explanation. But then I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, so you ran into, and like you guys have seen like the only thing that from Halloween that is still existing
was the floor mat
is my stupid floor mat. It's a Ouija board, and all 3 of us are so lazy to move it that it's next to our actual doormat. So we have 2 doormats. So that didn't throw you off? Walking right into like our shoe display and rack didn't throw you off? Going into Mitchell's bathroom that probably didn't look like yours didn't throw you off? I mean, for God's sake, it's one person that lives above and like then her girlfriend who visits. I'm like, does she even have a 2-story apartment? I mean, not 2-story, a 2-bedroom apartment?
Yeah.
And to like sit down and like pull down your pants.
And yeah,
like, sit on the toilet.
Right.
And, like, look forward.
Right. And that's what bothers me more. So I'm like, okay, so you walked in, you went through all these things, and then you still sat down, went poop, flushed the toilet, washed your hands, and turned on the fan. The fan was on. So I'm like, what the? That's how, to be honest, that's how I knew I wasn't in danger, because I was like, they put the fan on before they came out.
The nicest burglar ever.
Yeah.
I'll just do this.
I couldn't believe it. But anyway, in regards to my true statement, I did turn 25 this week, and it's been interesting. On my 25th birthday, which was a couple days ago, if I haven't said that enough, I'm just really drilling in the fact that I haven't been 25 that long. Don't you worry.
Okay, boomer.
Steven's older than me, guys. He's got me beat by a week and a half, if that. I worked all day in the morning, and then I went and got my eyebrows waxed. Thank God. Needed that done. But as I was driving to get my eyebrows waxed, I totally forgot that I had to get gas in my car. So I was driving from like downtown Phoenix to North Scottsdale, and my car was like on the blinking one too. So I'm like, okay, blinking means less than 30 miles. My eyebrow girl is 28 miles from where I am. I'm like, I'm just going to ride on that birthday magic. And I made it to the eyebrow lady. But then I started sweating because I was like, where am I going to go? And you know what's up there is the one Walmart that has gas. Have you guys been to that?
Right off the 101.
It's so, I hate Walmart. Fact check.
That Walmart's actually like the only nice one.
Well, yeah, it's a nice Walmart. I just hate Walmart as a corporation.
Oh, yeah,
Down with capitalism.
Eat the rich.
Yeah, eat the rich. But damn, their gas is yeah, not that gas. That gas is cheap as hell. So I was sweating going to make it to this Walmart because it was a mile. I was like, okay, so I've driven 28 out of my 30 miles. I can drive one more mile. But you know what started on Tuesday was the damn Waste Management open.
Oh.
I was stuck in all that traffic. My mom is like going down this emotional conversation about, I can't believe you're 25. And I'm just like, yeah, She's like, why are you talking like that? I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to run out of gas. I'm like, Dad's going to have to come and like fill up my gas tank with
Your birthday.
Yeah, on my birthday. I'm like, if I did do it on my birthday though, he couldn't yell at me. Yeah. Well, and he's waiting at the apartment too. My dad had driven up first thing in the morning.
Nearby. Oh yeah.
He's not that close though. It's still like a 20-minute drive with that Waste Management traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Please. He had been at my apartment for like 20 cuz I told him I'm like, "Oh, I'll be home at 3:45." It's like 4:15 and I'm like, "Dad, I have to get gas. Like, you got to hang tight, bud." So, I make it to the gas station. And I fill up my car and, you know, you do the cleaning out of, like, all the trash that you accumulate and, like, look like you're living out of the car. Fill it up. I get back in my car, turn it on. My gas gauge still is blinking and says my gas tank is at 0. So I'm just sitting there frozen, just trying to be, again, you know, in my 2 days of being 25, a lot of comprehensive things are coming into play where I'm trying to understand where I misstepped. So then my first thought is, oh my God, I just poured gas all over the ground. I'm like, oh my God,
Everybody leave.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I never put it into my gas tank. I'm like, how did it run? How did it know how to stop? Like, I was so confused. I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna explode. I couldn't believe it. Because I
run for your lives.
Yeah. I just sat there like, oh my God, I dumped the gas all over the ground. And then I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm like, I remember taking it out, putting it back in, and getting in the car. So then I was like, okay, maybe it just like didn't reset. Turn my car off, turn it back on. It's still like that. But at this point, I'm so late to meet my dad that I'm like, well, we're going with it. Because then I'm like, I'm a girl. I'm like, is there a hole in my gas tank? Like, is it leaking all through the car? Like, just, I couldn't understand, like, why.
I know what's happened here, but.
What?
You're just the float, the little gauge just would have been stuck or something if you poured, like, a full tank of gas into it. There's a little, like, float inside gas tanks that, like, measures where it's at, and so it would just been stuck at the bottom, like, caught on something, and so that's why it would have said 0, or the actual gauge is broken. But
so then here's what started happening. So then I leave and I'm getting on the highway. It's blinking. All of a sudden it stops blinking. So now I have 1 bar. Then I keep driving and I have 2 bars. All of a sudden, as my miles go, as I drive, my gas gauge is going up. So now my gas gauge shows that I have like 3/4 of a tank and I've driven like 100 miles. So it's like, it's literally backwards. So explain that.
Oh, I don't know that. That's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, so then like, you know, I'm pulling a sob story to my dad. I like pull in, I'm like, Dad, it's my birthday. And like, this is what my car is doing. I think I need a new car. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, but yeah. Well, and then it doesn't help that like my engine light comes on pretty often because
you're just like, let's ignore that, or
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's kind of faulty. I don't know. My car does weird stuff. I don't even drive that old of a car. My car is a 2012 Hyundai Elantra, which I guess in theory, now it's 10 years old.
Yeah.
And it's got like 148,000 miles on it or something.
Oh, wow.
Is that a lot?
It's a good amount. I mean, the car I just sold, I don't even think it had that much. Like, it had like 133. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's not been anything crazy wrong with it, but just the most random stuff. Like one time I tried to honk at a woman and I didn't have a horn. Again,
damn it.
Just like the things that are scary. Yeah, literally. Yeah. Do you know what a Twilight Zone that felt like to be in? Where I'm just pressing, because like, I don't know about you, but like I get nervous like around my horn. Like I don't like to honk it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, didn't that happen in Tucson? Oh, no, that wasn't a horn. But what?
I don't like the horn either.
Yeah, I don't know. People get road rage, and so it's not.
Well, yeah. And I don't know. I get stressed. So imagine me honking, like trying to honk, and it's not honking. So then I'm really like pressing on it ruthlessly and nothing. So apart from that, my car's been fine. But random stuff happened with it. Like remember when my fuel pump went out?
No.
Another story for another time. My fuel pump had gone out, and Chris's dad replaced that. And then something happened while he replaced it. There's something loose, so it falters my engine light to come on. Because now my engine light's off. So when I have to go get emissions done, I gotta do it on a day that my engine light's not on. Like every day I'm like, is it gonna stay on? How long is it gonna stay on for? I'm like, is this the day that I have to bring it in? But yeah, so my gas gauge is screwed up. I have no explanation for that. Thank God, I like to drive on fumes very often, so I have a good grasp of like how many miles until I need to fill up.
Yeah.
But that's stressful. I was getting anxious just thinking about having to remember.
I tend to push my cars. I've definitely been on the side of the road a couple times, but my dad does the same thing, so I just call him, and he just be a hypocrite to like.
You just help each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No lecturing necessary. It's like, fine.
Understood.
I mean, that's nice. No one else in my well, my mom does it, I guess. But I've actually gotten good. I used to run out of gas when I would go to school. Not run out of gas. My car wouldn't start.
Oh.
Yeah, like to 0 hour. Imagine because I would be like, oh, I'll get gas in the morning, and then car won't start. And then I'm just being dramatic. I'm like, Mom, my engine is shot. She's like, did you get gas? No, but my engine light's on. She's like, that's because your car won't turn over. You need to go get gas. I'm like, okay. So I've gotten better, but yeah. So we'll see. Stay tuned to see what happens with that gas gauge. Because I'm hoping that when I go to get gas again, it'll reset.
Well, now you're just essentially guessing. If it's going up as you drive, you're like, do you fill up when it gets to full?
I'm going. Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't know, because I was thinking about that too. But it went up significantly more than the miles I have driven.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like it went up a lot faster than like when they would go down normally.
It might just be that float valve like stuck on the side or something slowly like going up as time goes on. Or float gauge or whatever.
No idea. Cars don't need to be this hard. They don't.
4 wheels and an engine.
Yeah. I think I need to drive a Fred Flintstone car personally. Yeah. I think that's my only.
A moped?
Yeah. Maybe I'll go ask my neighbor about
Where'd you get that?
mopeds. So yeah, don't know what's going on with my car. It's fine. But on the bright side, you guys were both there. We did celebrate me turning 25. I spent literally a couple months planning this winter trip up to Flagstaff. I made it. I think I explained this last week. I gotta go back and fact check myself on this. But I based the theme around this reality show, Summer House, and we did a pajama party winter wonderland one of the nights. How did you guys like it? Did you have fun?
That was an interesting night.
Yeah, I know. It was weird. So basically the goal of the party, or the goal of the weekend, was me and Chris, we both turned 25 a few days apart from each other. So we invited all our friends up and rented a cabin in Flagstaff. And we all came up on Friday night. And then Saturday morning we went snowboarding. And then Saturday night we were all kind of tired and just stayed in and like wore our pajamas and hung out with people. And then Sunday we went home. But I don't know. How'd you guys like it? Steven did not go snowboarding.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Let the record show.
The one person who like really snowboards.
Yeah, the dude who could probably shred that gnar.
We had fun though at our little lesson.
Yeah.
It was a long lesson, but
Yeah, that was unexpected. We cuz the people going, I mean, we're all from Arizona. Literally. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We're all from
Wait,
Arizona.
what about, isn't Chris from
Yeah.
your boyfriend?
My boyfriend
We're all
is
Arizona.
from Sacramento. So Chris knew how to snowboard. Mitchell knew how to ski. Connor's not from here.
Yeah,
Oh no, he moved here at some point. Connor knew how to ski. Alexa knew how to snowboard. So me, Anna Marie, and then two of my other friends, Haley and Madeline. Anna Marie had the most experience out of the four of us. So Anna Marie really didn't need the lesson.
Which is saying something.
I mean, she was
Steven,
she was up there. Me and Madeline were just hanging out in the back, just doing our thing. But we took a lesson. It was free. But the way the lesson was described was, it was like a come and go as you please. Do whatever, like little, learn what you want to learn. Go at your own pace. Oh my God, we were in that lesson for 2 hours. I was exhausted and grumpy. And I mean, we had this like hysterical instructor who he was super earthy crunchy. He was a full-time tour guide of the Grand Canyon, I think is what he said.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
you guys.
that's what my friend does. He does the like touring of the Colorado River, like down the Grand Canyon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was who I went and hung out with while you guys had
Oh,
fun.
he should have met our ski instructor.
They probably know each other. They probably work with each other.
Probably. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so he's a full-time Grand Canyon tour guide and then part-time snowboard instructor. And yeah, he's in his 30s. He's got a kid. And he is just one with the earth through and through. He would talk about his vision quests, and he snowshoed up a mountain for 6.5 hours for a 10-minute snowboarding ride. But he was funny because he would make like those offhanded comments that just cracked me up. So we spent the first 2 hours of our snowboard trip with him learning how to snowboard, and we were so exhausted and starving. We ran back to that car and just like devoured those sandwiches. That last run me and Madeline didn't even do because I was so hungry. Well, it's just that anxiety of you don't know what you're getting into for how long. Yeah. So then you're just spending the whole time thinking like, is it done yet? How much longer? How much longer? And you feel like you're in school and you can't check your phone and like
I wanted you to pay attention. Like when that other girl who was in the group would like go down without us, he was like, "All right, sit on down and come back up here. We're gonna learn the next thing."
Oh.
He wanted us to like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, 'cause she would like go up and down like and try and like go ahead, and then he's like, "All right, time for the next."
Reel it in, lady.
Yeah. It's funny hearing you be like, God, it was like 2 hours. When like growing up, my parents would like drop us off at like 7 a.m. and then be like, okay, see you at 4. And that whole time was just like lessons.
How were you not? I mean, I guess you're like used to it at that point. I was exhausted.
Well, like once you get past a certain point, it's like you're really just snowboarding, like with people that are good and like.
Said too, like once you learn this stuff, then you just go.
Yeah,
like,
but
better.
Yeah, I felt like I got worse. It's just like. Because, I don't know, I just start overthinking, and I'm like, okay, everything I've learned to this point is wrong. I need to, like, dial it back and redo it. I don't know. So, I mean, I was fine when we went back down the actual mountain. I didn't think about it so much, but, I mean, it was fun. I wasn't as sore as I thought I was going to be. So I called that a win. I just want to be like a really big like boarding chick.
Yeah.
And I just
shred the gnar.
Cool.
Yeah, I just want to like look awesome and like shred. Just want to shred that gnar.
Well, if you keep going, it won't. It doesn't take long to like.
Yeah.
You just have to keep doing it, which is kind of the hurdle.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, what is it? It's February. I went in March a couple years ago.
That was when I broke my arm the second time.
In March?
Yeah.
Oh.
You should go back up with Anna Marie. She's jonesing to go.
I really want to go again.
Oh, really? So you had a lot of fun.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Your question. I had a very fun time.
Oh, good.
I
mean, honestly, reflecting on the whole trip, not that I wouldn't have fun, but I even had a lot of fun. I get really stressed out with things that I've planned, and it's very hard for me to like let loose.
Enjoy the thing
But everyone was on the same page. Yeah. Everyone was with the program. Like, there was no one lagging behind. Like, I was like, guys, we got to get up at this time and like be out by this time. And everyone was like, say no more.
6 a.m.
Yeah.
Braiding hair.
Yeah. No, I was so happy, and I knew it was a success because I was able to like relax and not think and like host everything. So I was really happy. Yeah. I thought I had fun.
Yeah. I think it was a success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, I definitely I had fun. Yeah. I can't wait to like actually snowboard again, but
yeah.
So we gotta go back up.
I know, next time we can go every year.
Make it a tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't plan it as intently. Hey, I got reviewed by the Airbnb. They said Madison and group were a pleasure to have and welcome back anytime.
Wow.
And I did tell them that the toaster was broken.
That's stupid toaster.
This toaster was it even ancient?
Probably just cheap. You just had to like aggressively slam it down.
Yeah,
like
you had to
5
like
times.
yeah.
Bagel never got toasted.
Yeah.
It's not cooking.
Well, yeah, because like you would push it down, it wouldn't go down, and then when it did go down, it wouldn't pop back up. So we're sticking forks in it.
What?
Fact check. In my head, I don't know. I don't know I don't know if that was actually.
I thought.
Using a knife.
Okay, because I wasn't up.
I'll go home and ask him.
I wasn't up, and so I wasn't sure if you guys were actually like, let's see if this works.
Hey. Oh gosh. I mean, I'll ask him if he was doing that. I wouldn't put it past anyone. Truly.
Because it was stuck and he couldn't get it out.
Yeah. I'll ask. I'll report back next week with the hard-hitting information. But yeah, I mean, it was super fun. My highlight was getting to snowboard and hang out with all of my friends and just kumbaya with all of you. And yeah, I mean, that's all I have to really say about it. I don't know. Other than that, this is the busiest week of my life, so I don't know what I even have going on next week. So next week's episode will kind of be a crapshoot. Maybe I'll rely solely on your guys' Grand Canyon backpacking trip for content and just asking you a bunch of questions about that, because Lord knows I would never do something like that. I admire you guys, but I'll leave it to you guys. But that about sums up this week. I thank all of you for listening. Again, thanks to, oh my gosh, now I have a lisp. Thanks to, awkward. Thank you to Steven for letting us use his little in-house studio here. I have a lovely backdrop. I don't even know what my backdrop is. I didn't look at it. I think it's the plant.
Oh no. We might not have video right now. It might have died.
Oh, the camera died?
I think so. All right, sorry for
That's okay.
Video watchers. We ran out of battery, but
you just got to use your imagination. I can at least promise you that I probably look the same.
But you want to do like a call to action? Ask people to subscribe and subscribe to this Help Me Mom podcast. As far as I know, it is not currently streaming on all platforms, but it will be. I have
you
like a way to do that. Yeah.
We're publishing. The stress.
We'll publish after like 3 episodes, just so there's like
Content.
more people can listen to.
A build up. Okay. Yeah. Well, listen to. It's hard for me. I just don't even know what. I don't know what it's on. So I'm like, listen to it on the internet.
So subscribe on whatever podcast app you're listening to.
Yes.
Be it like Spotify or Google Podcasts or whatever. And if you're on YouTube, just subscribe. Hit that little the little bell.
Yes. Do that. Because when I have video, I talk a little more freely, apparently. Yeah. I come alive.
Not that we have video now, but...
No. Yeah, that's right. I am acting for no one. I'm staring at the computer, just throwing up hands. Well, there you go, guys. I guess I just have to pretend. But yeah, so subscribe to us on all platforms that you listen to. And
come back next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.